Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Ivy, your lovely spider host, and today I'm going to show you how I color this handsome boy here. His name's Attorh, and he's dead in my comic. Dun dun dun. It's not a big spoiler because his son is the main character in one of the books of my comic, so it's kind of like, hey, this is the cataclysm that leads up to the events of the part of the book that I'm in. I've been writing a lot, doing a whole lot, and yeah. I'm at this point where I'm basically just showing you how I color things because that's the tutorial video this week. But I suppose we can get started. So to start, I have two brushes that I mainly use, which is like a simple blending brush on Procreate, which is soft blend. So it's not like a full like heavy blending kind of thing, but usually I use that to put down my base blush areas, and then I have Streaky, which I go in to add the roughness of like the pores on the skin, if that makes sense. Streaky, I don't know if it's a brush that comes naturally with Procreate or if it doesn't and you have to find it online. I don't remember either or, which is bad on me. If I figure out where you can find it, if it's not naturally on Procreate, then I will send it your way. I will put a link. But for the most part, what you do is that you put the contours in, which is, well, I have to explain how you do that. Basically, I have four base colors. You have a highlight color, your base color for the skin, your blush color, and then your contour color. And so essentially what you want to do is that you want to put your blush in first, and you want to blend it out, do all your nice little thing, like just blend it out into the skin. Then you want to add your contours in the certain areas you want contours. Like here I'm doing it with the nose, and essentially you want to blend it out with the blush. And then after you do all your contour areas, you want to add in your highlight areas, which is in the inner corner of the eye, the cheekbones, the nose, anywhere else on the skin, which is usually where, like, for instance, I'll put it on the knuckles or a little on the shoulder, or just kind of in the joint areas, if that makes sense, like where your little bones meet. But yeah, that's just kind of how I do this. I'm just coloring the skin and stuff, and while we're doing that and we're just watching, I'll kind of explain some stuff about this character. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen D&D artists, but some D&D artists have some fantastic ideas, and one of them I've seen is elemental tieflings, and I have to find the artist for this, but I saw this on Pinterest, and I was like, oh, inspiration. And basically where most of the tieflings in my world live are in Pyralis' territory, and he's like the god of fire and rage. So I'm like, I might as well have a little like areas where tieflings congregate, and it's like a whole little mix mash of like, hey, all these elemental tieflings. But I wanted to expand upon the idea of that and have like Cairo or like, you know, Dendro, like stuff like that, kind of like how Genshin has multiple elements like that, but in like just more variations than just water, fire, air, and earth, if that makes sense, just to expand upon the idea of it. I just thought that'd be a fun way to expand on the idea without completely just copying it and just putting it into my world. And with tieflings, I kind of wanted to add them in a way where I could expand upon the idea. Like, for instance, they're vampiric in my world, so basically they live off of blood and sometimes meat. They also tend to, I guess the best way to put it is that the royals only are allowed to have wings, which is something that does play a role in my comic. But the royals are only gifted wings by the gods to show that, hey, they're royalty. Also, if you didn't notice there, the way that I do eyes is get the dark pupil, you got darker towards the top of the eye to show like the shadow, and then lighter towards the bottom of the eye, and then little dots to implicate like highlights, which is like your lightest color. And then eventually I kind of, you know, just go into the hair. The hair, I guess the best way I can explain is that I learned how to do hair through the Arcana style a little bit. You put in your blocky highlight area, and then I kind of added my own twist to it where I put streaks through the blocky highlight area. Like, I erased some of it to make it not look as blocky and make it look more like hair highlights, if that makes sense. And then after I do all the hair highlights, I go in and I do all these shadows. So you get all these lovely shadows. I also put shadows where, like, you know, hair like overcast onto the other section of hair, like right here where the swoop is, and it overcast onto the lower layer of hair, if that makes sense. So it's like, hey, there's a shadow there, and it's not just immediately like highlighted. But like I said, I just inspired a little mix of the elemental tiefling idea I saw from this artist with a bit of like the elements from Jinshin and stuff. And I just thought it'd be like a cool idea to have a little expansion of like not just water, earth, fire, and air. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just thought it'd be a little more fun. Anyways, basically what I do here after I add specific highlights in the dark areas is that in certain little areas I have a less saturated color that's like almost like a dark gray but almost black, and then I kind of go in and I add those in the shaded areas just to be like, hey, this little area, it's got a little more dimension to it, because I don't think it's just, I don't know, it just adds a little pop to it where it's like, hey, this kind of looks interesting. And then I'm coloring feathers. Now with feathers, it gets a little complicated because these are crow feathers. If you've never seen a crow feather, they kind of have this, like, I guess the best way to put it is like a reflective kind of thing, where it's like it reflects like different colors. Like you would take like your base black color, but you would shift like the rainbow color, like the rainbow hue color, like when you're changing the color on your rainbow wheel. But you wouldn't move like the darkness of it to get the different colors. Like, hey, I want this to have a little green highlight. You would move it to the green area, but you wouldn't change the darkness or the brightness of it, if that makes sense. So essentially you would get your colors that way, and then you'd add them onto the black, and then you got crow feathers. That's just what I'm saying. I'm just stinking thinking for you. Now with clothes and stuff, like I have metal pieces on this, so I'm basically going in and I'm doing metal. Basically you have your brightest area hitting your darkest area to make it look a little more reflective, and sometimes if you want to reflect colors, you can just add colors into the corner areas where it's like going back into lightness after the dark, if that makes sense. But it's just to show that it's reflective and stuff. And I kind of add the brighter areas a little closer to the darker areas to make it look like it's like, hey, it's reflecting and curving a little more. And now I'm kind of getting to the area where we're just coloring in the basic shirt and everything, because that's what we need to do. So as the Stinky Royal Man, who has been fighting a 20-year-long war, I don't know, I guess the best way to put it is drama. Family drama. Drama? But the best way I can say is that he's a very stone cold man, and his son Azrael, who's the main character of, I believe it's book 3 of my comic, is just a baby. He's just a sweetheart, and everybody expects him to be like his dad, and he's not. And he's very puny. He's like the runt of the family, so he's very small in comparison to everybody else, even his sisters. So everybody's like, haha, you're tiny. And it makes him sad. It makes him a very sad boy. So he's a good king, even if he can't show it in his own way. That's basically how you color. That was just my little quick explanation. Nothing fancy. Like I said, I just thought it'd be interesting to have a tiefling-like creature in my world with some new little fancy aspects to them. Like I said, vampire-like, where they have little fangs and they suck blood. Blah 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 blah. The royals have wings, and they're kind of based off of elements instead of just, you know, normal tieflings. Just something fun like that. And like I said, I will link below the artist that I saw the elemental tiefling thing from, so be sure to go check their art out. They probably have really cool D&D art. I just only saw that from them, and I really liked the idea, and I just wanted to kind of join in on the cool idea. I like the concept of it. Anywho, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!